viewers, and then my good friend, my very good friend and brother. He's a senior brother, but you see, in fact, from the angle he took, I mean, one would say that he has disarmed you and made the whole conversation a bit, I mean, forward-looking. I'm happy he didn't put up a defensive posture, because my point is simple. If the NDC brings this to Parliament, they have the overwhelming numbers. They don't need us. In fact, they don't need us to work on this matter. They don't. Now, so one will ask that, and don't forget that this same government has a history. And if for nothing at all, that this government must reflect back to history. Because it was during that time that all these profound landmark rulings were made. So for one will ask, why is the minority so much worked out? Because it is not as if you can influence it. Or we are not talking because we want to do something untoward, or we want to distract government, or we want to frustrate government. No. We are only doing it for posterity. We are doing it for the good people of this country. And we are doing it so that in future, nobody would hide under any form or shape, or whether love letter, whether any form to bind or to put an obligation on this country and not resort to what the Constitution has asked us to do. So I don't even know, like Fred said, I don't know why we are even here. And I don't know why we are even making this. But you see, now the matter is becoming much more intense because of the posturing of the minister. For you to tell us that it does not need to go to Parliament because it's an MOU, that is where I disagree with you. For you to tell us that you came to meet several MOUs in your office, so this one too can be one of the MOUs you came to meet, it's problematic. Because maybe you met MOUs, people were not interested in the MOU, so it's like you are caught stealing. And then you say, oh, Senior Fred has been stealing, nobody said anything. So why am I?
For purposes of education, what's the difference between the MOU, the agreement, and then the treaties, the conventions, and the agreements?
No, unless the minister explained to me. Unless the minister explained to me. But you see, let me read this. Let me read this. And I'm referencing the ruling. I want to read something profound. The judgment on the... This one is not the Margaret Banfo and Anabi. Because if I go to Margaret Banfo and Anabi, you appears as though they are aligned to me. That's why I want to go there. I'm reading the Broja Jemfi versus the Attorney General ruling, where it had to do with the military base issue. Now, when you go to page 11 of the ruling, profound, and I'm reading so that we all take, some clues and lessons. It says that the Constitution makes no mention of any formal distinctions that are dependent on the formality with which such an instrument is formatted or brought into being. From the aforementioned principles of constitutional interpretation in Ghana, there is no doubt that where, by various forms or documentation, the government of Ghana binds the Republic of Ghana to certain obligations in relation to another company or group of another country or group of countries, an international agreement comes into existence. This is the ruling, page 11. Now, taking into account the substance of Exhibit A, and there is no doubt that despite the form in which has been drafted or the content couch, it is intended to create an obligation on the part of Ghana to the US, where inter alia Ghana binds itself to receive and resettle the said two persons into the country. So it has no shape or form. It doesn't matter how it is couched. So far as there is an obligation on the country. The deportees you are receiving, who will give them food? Where will they sleep? Whose money? Huh? So it's an obligation on us. So far as the government is binding us into such obligation, the good people of Ghana, your tax, my tax, his tax, it is important that this Article 75 comes into being. And I can go to the ruling of Joyce Banfo, Nanabi, and Attorney General. Similar. The underlining point here is when there is an obligation on the good people of Ghana. So for me, if you tell me this is the Attorney General's advice, and when this matter, Joyce Banfo, Nanabi, Attorney General, it was the same Attorney General who was the Deputy AG then. So I am surprised the kind of advice I am. So that is why, and you see, the reason why Parliament is involved and the good people, the framers of the Constitution mentioned Parliament is that when this document is brought to Parliament, Fred, myself, we will have the opportunity to sit down and look at it, discuss it, look at the pros and cons, look at questions that we want to ask. So these people, when you are bringing them, what are you going to do to them? We would have the benefit of everything in there, then we will advise. Then we would, so when we ratify, it means that the entire Ghanaians have accepted that let these people come, or host these people, or feed these people. For now, we have not. So when you commit the resources of Ghana, when you commit anything Ghana to them, somebody in future can take you on. Because the obligation that was on the people didn't accept this obligation. And he didn't say you solely, as minister, as president, go and do this. He says, let the people, that is why it is referencing the Constitution, Article 70. That is why he says Parliament. Because that is the representation of the people. Look, if we don't take care, tomorrow, even the same people that we are hosting, the deportees we are taking, they can take us on. Because I have very good information, and I'm just taking time. Because the places where they are keeping them, whatever is going on there, tomorrow, if we don't take that, the people will come and file human rights charges against us as a country. And it is deadly, it is dangerous. That is why the government must tread cautiously with this matter. And for me, like Fred said, what is so important about this one? Trump has taken a decision.
No, there's pressure. There's pressure
from who?
From the Trump administration.
But the minister told us there's no pressure.
Why might the pressure be on?
Minister told us there's no pressure. People are even alluding to the fact that because of the recent, relationship between us,
two countries, yeah.
visa, we've cut it down. We are not giving you this. We are not doing this. Because of that is why you are being forced to take that. The minister disagreed. So when you tell me pressure, I am confused. I'm lost. When you tell me, the minister again told us that they didn't take a cent. They didn't receive it. It means that, for me, when I listen to the wording and the statement, it means that something was offered and we didn't take it. What was offered? So please, I think that is why the framers of the Constitution are saying that, look, come to Parliament. Let Parliament look at it. Look, the Foreign Affairs Committee, when this matter comes to Parliament, they will make reference to the Foreign Affairs Committee. We are about 20-something. The NDC on the Foreign Affairs Committee are almost 15 or 17. The MPP is only 5.
On the committee.
On the committee. So, what is the point? Why? You see, when you do this...
Could it also be that because Parliament is on recess,
No,
they want to do this when Parliament comes
on?
No,
that is not an excuse. That can never be an excuse. That can never be an excuse. So please, for me, this was going to be my second matter or second issue. Because these are other nationals. We have issues that is regarding our nationals, that we are not even clear what is it that we are doing and how we are treating our nationals. That is what I believe we should be interested in and be looking at. And that is where the minister must be it must be his headache. That is what must be the government's headache. Because the people I met over the week Vunduru.
Yeah.
They are,
I was just about to
yes,
ask
they
you about
are Ghanaians. They are his countrymen. They are his tribesmen, his people. And if for nothing at all, that is where he should be so much interested in. That is where the energy should be. Because what would our president, how will he look when you are dealing with Burkinabe's issue, when you are dealing with Malian issue, when you want to see yourself as the champion or the leader of Africa, stand as such, and in your backyard, you have some displacement which is giving you bad press. I think that they must commit themselves in making sure that these matters at the northern Savannah area and the Boli area must be resolved. That is what is important. As against, that is why people are questioning that what is in this deportees matter, that you want to give government some bad press about this deportees matter. That is why we need to know. It must come to Parliament for us to know what is it. That
you believe there's something government is not telling us? Aside the explanation given by the foreign minister.
It is not for me to believe. It is not for me to believe. I don't know what to believe. But you see, I am putting bits and pieces of the whole issue together. Like I asked you, if it was a hanged parliament and you are trying to dodge parliament, people will feel that, yeah, you are doing it because there is a probability that you may not have the support you are looking for in parliament. That's why you are trying to dodge parliament. That is not the case. You pride yourself that you have overwhelming majority. It's not. You have more than 2/3. That even if the entire minority decide to walk out, even if the entire minority decide not to even come to parliament on that day, you are comfortable. So I am not to believe. I am just to assume, think around and ask. You see, Ghana is not a monologue state or a monolith state where US is. So Trump signs an agreement with you and it becomes law. No. Ghana, when you sign the agreement, it must come to parliament for ratification before it becomes. That is why some of these things are important. That is why some of these things are critical. So please, for me, I can tell you that, like you said, I know Nanabi, the national organizer of the MPP, and his colleague, Margaret Banfo, again has signaled or indicated to their lawyers to petition on this matter. Their lawyers, Bafo, who are MP for Asia, and then Lenny Nigeria Nani, another young, sharp, brilliant chap, to pursue this case to its logical conclusion so that we know. I mean, we can now come to terms and be clear on our minds. If the judges rule that now it can come into in some forms. In some forms, it doesn't need parliament. In some forms, it needs parliament. The president will be there for all of us to follow.
Okay.
It is important. What they are doing is important for us.
Okay.
If they go, and the judges affirms this matter, then we are clear in our mind that in future, no government, you cannot do anything with any country without coming to parliament.
Okay.
But if they give us some caveat, then it means that we would ride on the caveat in future.
Okay.
That is clear.
Fred,